Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're feeling good, having a great day so far. Returning to a little Tristan and Isolde prelude to Act 3 is what we're going to be covering here today. We're listening to this because it was suggested and sponsored by Sylvain. Sylvain, thank you so much for the support and for the request here. We listened to a little bit recently, and now we're going to listen to the prelude to Act 3, which is set up here. Unfortunately, Sylvain has nicely included a little sentence, a little bit of context here for the piece. Tristan is dying on an island, waiting for Isolde to return. In the meantime, a lonely shepherd, represented by the English horn, is on the lookout for the boat to arrive, which he'll signal with a happy tune. So now we have a little bit of a context for what we're about to hear. I need to look up like the actual story of Tristan and Isolde because I don't know it. And of course that would help in regards, but at least this gives us a little bit of context in this particular case. So let's go ahead and listen to the track. We'll discuss it a little bit after. Here we, hold on, go. It stopped playing. Hold on, try one more time. Here we go. Okay. It's very mournful, which makes sense. It's a little happier, this melody. I like this piece quite a bit. It has so many different emotions that it captures really nicely in this prelude. And so, okay, really quickly, I'm just going to bring you guys up here because I wanted to have like some in-depth background about the story as I was listening. So, although of course I'm missing some of the context, I do know that these two star-crossed lovers are destined for each other in a way. Currinal has brought Tristan home to his castle at Cariol in Brittany. A shepherd pipes a mournful tune and asks whether Tristan is awake. Currinal replies that only Isolde's arrival can save Tristan, and the shepherd... Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And the shepherd offers to keep watch and says he will pipe a joyful tune to mark the arrival of any ship. Okay. So, the first half of this is gloomy and dire and mourning, and it's almost a dirge when these strings reach and pull into the depths. the lowest pits, it's really a monument to mourning and sadness, right? A shepherd pipes a mournful tune and asks if Tristan's awake. Well, obviously he's not doing great. So like it's just really cool how the music perfectly captures that emotion and he invokes that particular spirit. Incredibly well done. And the depth with which they go down is incredible. And I can only imagine if, seeing this performed live, it's that kind of depth that even sitting in the audience, it captivates you almost into a sort of primal fear. It almost instigates that kind of reaction. I would only guess. And I think that that's absolutely wonderful how that is performed and put together there. And then it moves into that transition with the horn, which is really wonderfully done, because right in that transition, the notes begin to turn their nose upward, and not in a too good for you kind of way, but upward in a more positive light. The music begins to lift a little bit. So the music has traveled really nicely from the lowest depths and begins to pull us up. So it comes from something hopeless into something hopeful, and perhaps eventually into something with a sort of happiness to it as well. And I'm just going to bring back the piece here really quick because I just want to play a few moments here. So this is just gloomy, depressive, but beautifully so. It sounds... How do I say this without sounding weird? Because I don't want it to come around like it sounds like wailing, mournful grieving, but put to really beautiful melody. It just sounds good. And it's really nice how that was captured. And then moving forward, this depths, man. This is low. And this is the prelude to Act 3, right? So this is that establishing shot musically that introduces the scene, the theme, and perhaps where the story is going to go from here. So we're starting at a low point. I don't know what happened in Act 2, but it led us into this low pit. But eventually, it turns. The strings come away from that density into something a little bit lighter, almost as if like to call to something, and then the horn comes in taking over, and it's basically soloing from this point forward. And so I like how you can pretty much imagine this shepherd just tending to his sheep in his pasture and on the lookout for a boat, just kind of musing to himself, and then look there on the horizon, but what do you see but a ship out there? And I think that that's really cool how the music perfectly captures all of that and moves the story along without any words. It's something that I always look at and I'm always interested in, and I think that it's incredibly well done here in this particular track and piece. And I'm just curious because I'm looking at the ending of course, Act 2. Tristan says he cannot tell Mark why he betrayed him because Mark wouldn't understand. He turns to Isolde, who agrees to accompany him into the realm of night. Tristan further reveals that Malo has also fallen in love with Isolde. A fight ensues between Malo and Tristan, but at a critical moment, Tristan deliberately throws his sword aside, allowing Malo to stab him, and hence why we find Tristan in these dire straits at this particular point in the opening of Act 3. So I just want, because I didn't read that part before, I just want to know, like, how did Tristan get to this point? And that's why. Because it's near death. And the music, in a same sense, kind of acts like it's near death in that particular point. I just think that that's so cool how all of that is performed there. And then Sylvain had given me some notes here and said that this prelude never resolves. The tension's maintained until the end of the Liebestod. So this even continues to that point, just shifting from one tension to another, which is really interesting. It says that Tristan was so revolutionary that it has been called one of the first atonal pieces. See, where, as you said, it's deeply tonal. See, this doesn't sound atonal to me at all. This sounds completely fine. Melodic to my untrained ears. I don't hear anything off in some capacity, but about this whatsoever. I think that it just sounds wonderful. I like the progression of it. And I like how, yes, reading the story and the context helps me understand, but the music really grabs that and runs with it in a really beautiful way. That's really cool. I like this piece a lot. It was a nice journey, this one. I would love to know what you all thought of it in the comments below. I appreciate you, as always, being here and watching day in and day out. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Come on back tomorrow, and maybe I'll see you then.